A lot of that is based on the assumption they can find a tax-efficient way to unload some Asian assets, Yahoo Japan among them.
And one of the things that I loved about the quarter was she said, okay, look, I am a great steward of cash. Now, why does she do that? Because she comes in, Alibaba apparently and Yahoo Japan had terrible relations. She points that out. She was able to renegotiate the agreement that allowed her to keep back 122 million of shares that she would have had to sold on the IPO, which obviously wasn't that good. People say, oh, now that it's no longer an Alibaba story, how do you look at it? What are you, crazy? It's still a great Alibaba story because Alibaba's blowing right through 100. And in the meantime, she buys back 293 million shares at $26.37. Most of the buybacks I have seen this quarter have been miserable. There's a buyback.
Yeah, I spoke to her last night, guys, after the conference call. And as you just point out, Jim, I mean, there was a great deal of focus on the call and the conversation that we had afterwards on this very matter of capital allocation. I think in some ways trying to rebut this idea that they've gone out and made poor acquisitions, in fact, when they've only spent $1.6 billion on acquisitions. And as you point out, Jim, over $7 billion on buybacks at very, very good prices.
Yes.
Not to mention, again, what you just said, saving the company, they would argue, $2.5 billion by putting a bad relationship back on much better footing with Alibaba. I mean, she said to me, we've come far and fast in the relationship with Alibaba, and also actually said that in the future there could be further partnerships between these companies. Although when I said, well, what are you going to do with this stake? Because, of course, there is a great deal of focus on being able to unwind almost 18% of Alibaba they still own in a tax-efficient manner. I've been talking about that for over a year. They, on the call, as you know, said they're very optimistic that they will be able to do that. They did not give any specifics. They said they would update us in January. But that said, they talked to every expert out there. And as a result of a change in disclosure, even though they're locked up for a year on the Alibaba stake, they are going to be able to update investors on some of these plans that they may have for it. It is not considered strategic, and therefore, at some point, they are going to divest themselves, most likely in a tax-efficient manner, it would seem, of that stake. As for the core business, of course, Jim, that continues to be the key question. They had strength in mobile, 200 million in revenues, really showing some strength there. Display on PCs continues to be a not good business. But she, of course, came back to the fact that the core grew 8% in display without PCs and that they're doing very well on native ads. It's a mobile app company that sells native ads. Mobile apps will win, is what Marissa Mayer told me last night.